I have always feared being on this side of storytelling. Someone once said that it's a sacrifice to be the storyteller because the magic is lost when you're the one weaving the thread. You already know the answers. You're willfully building toward the coming conflict, the betrayal, and the ultimate climax. You give up the mystery, the joy of discovery, but that's the cross you bear to give others the thrill that you once had. But I was lied to. Sitting here in front of my master plan, I feel no noble sense of martyrdom, and there's no pride welling because of the great sacrifice for those who come after. I'm enthralled in and inspired by the world that I have discovered. Gentle giants whose tenderness is twisted to corruption, impish forest children who collect trash as treasure, and with delight paint all they own with brushes made of hair acquired by mischievous deeds. The patterns aren't so beautiful when the materials are easy to retrieve. This world is a gift of the imagination and not a willful act of creation. Why does it matter what's going on here and who the heck are you? Good questions. My name's Burke, and this is a devlog chronicling my journey to create a game studio, starting with my first game, Wild at Heart. And it matters because we're in a cultural moment where people are starving for good original stories in every medium, and those stories can only be found in a well-cultivated imagination. And these aren't just the musings of a madman on YouTube. They're the musings of an 18th century madman named George MacDonald, scrawled in an essay titled The Imagination, Its Function, and Its Culture. Who's he? Oh, he's just the father of modern fantasy who inspired writers like JRR Tolkien, Lewis Carrol, C.S. Lewis, G.K. Chesterton, and Mark Twain. Creation, imagination, why the distinction? Because for man, creation is impossible. God created something out of nothing with a word. True creation necessitates nothingness. That's why blank pages are so terrifying. It's nothingness staring at you smugly saying, go ahead, create something, puny God. It's scary because we know it's not possible. But there is truth to the taunt of the blank page. We're created in His image. We are, in a manner of speaking, puny gods. And our desire to create is as natural and necessary as breath. So, what is creation for a puny god? Imagination. And what exactly does imagination mean? Well, MacDonald defines imagination as that faculty which gives form to thought, not necessarily uttered form, but form capable of being uttered in shape or in sound or in any mode upon which the senses can lay hold. So we create forms that describe our thoughts. That is creation. But he doesn't say create, he says gives, and this is intentional. Think about it. What forms describe your thoughts? Aren't they just the sights and the sounds and the smells you've experienced throughout your life? When we want to express what's going on inside of our minds and hearts, we reach out to creation and borrow from the meanings packaged inside created things to make our thoughts and feelings clear. For what are the forms by means of which a man may reveal his thoughts? Are they not those of nature? But although he is created in the closest sympathy with these forms, yet even these forms are not born in his mind. What springs there is the perception that this or that form is already an expression of that phase of thought or of feeling. For the world around him is an outward figuration of the condition of his mind, an inexhaustible storehouse of forms where he may choose exponents, the crystal pitchers that shall protect his thought, and not need be broken that the light may break forth. Because we were created by the same God who created the world, we, as puny gods, find in our lesser siblings reflections of our rage or passion in brother fire, or our calm or adaptability in sister water. Now, we do combine forms to give form to more complex thoughts, so couldn't that be called creation? Well, do we? Why do we have our best ideas in the shower? And why do we draw and redraw the same character over and over trying to get it right? Why does that unfinished script sit in the same place taunting you with that blinking vertical line? The great character artist Glenn Keane believed that the characters he was designing already existed. He was just trying to find them. And you've likely met some of them. Pocahontas, Ariel, the Beast. If we now consider the so-called creative faculty in man, we shall find that in no primary sense is this faculty creative. Indeed, a man is rather being thought than thinking when a new thought arises in his mind. He knew it not till he found it there, therefore he could not have sent for it. He did not create it, else how could it be the surprise that it was when it arose? MacDonald is arguing that if we're the originators of our thoughts, then we could never be surprised by them. Something outside of us must be their source. If you doubt me, try this. Create anything, a poem, a drawing, a short story, a melody that has any meaning. And as soon as you have to ask a question, stop. If you're in control, then who or what are you asking for guidance? And for those of you who think you were successful and the meaning of the thing was randomness, well, where did you get the idea to call it random? Did you declare that it was random, or did something inside of the creation tell you that it was random. Greeks credit the muses, but we call it the subconscious. And here he makes a concession. We can use the word creation, but it is crucial that we understand the vast chasm that lays between what it is and what we're actually capable of doing. But can we not say that they are the creation of the unconscious portion of his nature? Yes, provided we can understand that that which is the individual, the man, can know and not know that it knows, can create and yet be ignorant that virtue has gone out of it. So I'm not telling you to go around burning creatives for their blasphemy. As a final observation, the fact that there is always more to a work of art than the artist perceived when he produced it does seem to suggest that there's something else telling the story. Now, as a human being, I'm sure that you don't need me to tell you that we are not in total control of our imagination, but we can decide what or who we listen to. But God sits in that chamber of our being in which the candle of our consciousness goes out in darkness, and sends forth from thence wonderful gifts into the light of that understanding which is his candle. Our hope lies in no most perfect mechanism even of the spirit, but in the wisdom wherein we live and move and have our being. Thence we hope for endless forms of beauty informed of truth. If the dark portion of our own being were the origin of our imaginations, we might well fear the apparition of such monsters as would be generated in the sickness of a decay which could never feel, only declare a slow return toward primeval chaos. But the Maker is our light. If we do not give truth, goodness, and beauty the reins of our imagination, we become a vessel for their antithesis. To tell the truest stories, the stories that really connect with the deepest parts of man, God needs to be in the seat of your unconscious self. We discover at once, for instance, that where a man would make a machine or a picture or a book, God makes the man that makes the book or the picture or the machine. You were made to take the road you take to create the story, the art, or the music that you make. You are meant to mean something, and the only way to access the fullness of your meaning is to know your Creator. The glory of God is to conceal a thing, but the glory of the king is to find it out, says Solomon, as if, remarks Bacon on the passage, according to the innocent play of children, the divine majesty took delight to hide his works, to the end to have them found out, and as if kings could not obtain a greater honor than to be God's playfellows in that game. So let the Creator of all be your playfellow, and enjoy the gift of meaning all you were made to. I hope that this encouragement puts wind in your sails and carries you across wild seas to distant and strange lands. Please come back and tell us tales of peril and progress, of terror and triumph. We need you. We need your stories. Don't close your heart to the call when it comes. Thank you so much for checking out my channel, and as always, work hard and play harder.